organizer to actually have boots on the ground in a community, one of the communities that was hardest hit in the storm. A lot of people in the 9th Ward actually say that the recovery there, even though it is slow going, actually was led by community organizers, people standing up saying that this will not be green space. This is where my family was born and raised. We will not let the lower 9th Ward go. So just, I guess, a different side of the coin from the president being at one point a community organizer, now being the commander-in-chief as he visits for this 10th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. You can see the motorcade actually being led by law enforcement vehicles headed this way. You can see the presidential limousine, the Secret Service contingent, as well as the traveling press corps, all headed this way to Air Force One. People, military standing by at the ready for him to board the plane. Wheels up momentarily. His advance people do tell us this time he won't spend as much time on the ground. When he arrived sometime just about 12:08, he actually spent about 20 minutes here on the tarmac, getting off the plane, talking to dignitaries, greeting guests who were invited to be here. This time it's supposed to be cut and dry. He'll arrive here and then board the plane headed away from here. But he is just arriving after spending, I guess, about 4 hours or so on the ground in New Orleans. Remarkable progress, the president says, that the city has made when you think about where we've come. Hard to imagine it's been a decade, 10 years since the storm, but for some people, they remember it like it was yesterday. Katrina forever changed their lives, forever changed this community. A lot of people say that New Orleans has changed for the better in so many senses in terms of, improved schools, improved infrastructure in some cases, but the president made no mistake, lots of work still to be done. He is getting out of the presidential limousine at this moment, or expected to get out any moment now. You can see Secret Service going up to the car, I guess about to open the door as the president prepares to leave New Orleans, but certainly significant for the sitting president to visit 10 years after Hurricane Katrina. We do know we have former presidents in the coming days who are expected to visit, but President Barack Obama, the commander-in-chief, boots on the ground just to see the progress that we have made. Now, Air Force One is definitely going to be firing up momentarily. Things may get a little bit loud as the president gets ready to be on his way, but we are bringing you live pictures as he leaves New Orleans for this visit. Scott and Adriana, just interesting times here. We're unclear, a year and a half left in his term. This may be the last time as commander-in-chief he actually visits the Crescent City. Boarding Air Force One right now. We're waiting for him maybe to turn around, give a final look at us or at the city. Mr. President waving, we're waving back here. Boarding Air Force One, departing the city. Scott and Adriana, back to you guys in the studio.
And no matter where you are, Gina, I'm just amazed by Air Force One sitting on the runway here. It's amazing to see. I've never seen it up close. That's something I'd like to do one day, is be on the tarmac next to Air Force One. It's an incredible sight, and it's in our city. It's been here for a few hours, and that's something to behold right there in front of you. Yeah, it absolutely is, and you got to give him some credit for coming down here, as Gina mentioned, with a little time left in his term, to come down here and speak to the people of New Orleans. He even said during his speech at the Sanchez Center that he made promises while he was a senator that he says he has kept through the years. Here we are 10 years post-Katrina. He said that the city has inspired him. He said that the city is provided a lot of lessons for other areas of the country for disasters and recovery. He seemed to be very impressed with the Big Easy. And one point to make: on days like this, anniversaries like this, events like this, politics sort of goes out the window. You saw Governor Bobby Jindal and Senator Bill Cassidy, who met the president as he departed from Air Force One earlier today. Mayor Mitch Landrieu was there as well. Cedric Richmond was on Air Force One with him. But you had Republicans, you had Democrats, and that didn't really matter today, because what mattered was the message the president was putting out there, that so much has been done, there's still work to be done, and this is where we are 10 years after Katrina. Yeah, and that was really key, I think, what he pointed out there at the Sanchez Center, that he acknowledged there is a long way to go, but he did also praise how far the city has come, but he did
talk about those points, the violence in this community, the fact that there's a lot of rebuilding that needs to be done infrastructure-wise, etc. So he really had some really good points, a very rousing and passionate speech there that I think a lot of people here were receiving very well.
And as we discussed earlier, the Sanchez Center, it's no accident that he gave that speech from that facility. It's a $20 million facility. It's state-of-the-art. It was a long time coming, just recently opened, and it is a beacon there in the 9th Ward that's a sign of major recovery in that area, one of the areas so hard hit by Hurricane Katrina. I mean, some would argue that it was the worst hit by Hurricane Katrina.
And then, of course, before he spoke there at the Sanchez Center, he spent the day walking through Treme, meeting people, shaking hands, holding and kissing babies, as we know that he does. And so I think he had a lot of he got to see a lot of the Crescent City. He got to see Willie Mays, obviously, have their famous fried chicken.
And there he is
luckily,
with Leah Chase.
Yeah, he said luckily he didn't get any chicken grease on his tie. So yeah, he had a good day, I'd say.
And Gina, he's been here in the city for 5.5 hours roughly, or about 5 hours after landing about 12:20, maybe a few minutes before that this afternoon. A quick trip, but he certainly got a lot done in this trip and fed his belly as well.
Definitely got a lot done during this trip, Scott. And as you mentioned, it was a day where politics should have been out of the window. We definitely saw Republican governor, presidential candidate Bobby Jindal, as you mentioned, Senator Bill Cassidy. But, the reason that is so important is because Katrina was not partisan. Katrina was no respecter of person. We all felt the impact, anybody in this region, whether you're Republican, Democrat. So today definitely wasn't the day for politics, as you remember a storm that devastated this region and, claimed 1,800 lives 10 years ago. So a lot to put in perspective as the commander-in-chief makes this visit for the 10th anniversary.
Yeah, and it's certainly a visit the people of the 9th Ward will remember, and anybody who got a chance to shake the hand of the president today or give him a hug, as I saw a lot of people do earlier. This is the part now where Air Force One is about to take off, where it's your chance, if you're in the flight path, to run outside and get a really good view of Air Force One. Because this is a big 747 that'll be flying over a lot of houses soon, and we always get some great pictures of Air Force One as it lifts off from Armstrong and makes its way out of the city. But it is a very visible sight in the sky.
And of course, we know that tomorrow and Saturday we're expecting former presidents to be in town. Tomorrow it's former President George W. Bush and his wife Laura Bush. They're traveling through Louisiana and Mississippi. And then on Saturday, Bill Clinton will be in town. He'll take a look at some of the work of the Bush-Clinton Fund and what has been completed through that fund here in the Crescent City. So the next 3 days, next 2 days or so, will be very, very busy as we'll see a lot of officials come through and take a look and mark the recovery 10 years after Hurricane Katrina.
This gives us a chance again to marvel at the technology on Air Force One. I love this. You weren't out here earlier when I geeked out a little bit talking about Air Force One. Camille got to hear it, but there are 2 planes that are used by the president, and each one, when he's on it, is called Air Force One. Of course, it's not. Yeah. Its name isn't given as Air Force One. Whatever. If the president were flying on a prop plane out of Lakefront Airport, it would be called Air Force One. But this is the plane that's been in service since 1990, when the first President Bush was in office, and that's the one that keeps on going since then. It's been modernized and upgraded over the years. It can withstand electronic pulses that could happen in the atmosphere. It can be a flying command center, and the president can do everything in that plane that he can do inside the White House.
Absolutely, and of course you can hear it a little bit there through Gina's microphone. It's just a massive plane. I've seen it in person before. It's actually an amazing thing just to be there and see the president get on the plane and wave. As Gina was saying, hopefully he'll turn around and wave. And Gina, what does it sound like out there right now?
It's pretty loud, and we're actually getting blown away by as it turned around. One of the propellers, just the massive force, just blew a whole bunch of debris in our faces. But you can definitely feel the gravity that this is the president's mobile office, if you will, like how Scott has been saying. It's just to marvel at Air Force One, but to be here and see it, you can feel the gravity of the moment that this is your commander-in-chief on the ground here in the Crescent City. But we are expecting wheels up in just a few moments as Air Force One is departing Armstrong International Airport. A couple of hours, 4 to 5 hours maybe on the ground, but definitely packed a lot in during his visit. Scott, Adriana.
Gina, thanks. Great job reporting out there at the airport. I know that's not an easy assignment because of all the layers of security that all the media goes through there. But we got it at the start and at the finish, as well as the president is about to lift off and head back to D.C. after a long day, a sunny day, a gorgeous day here in New Orleans.
Very nice day.
He remarked that he couldn't believe this was August.
Just glad Gina didn't get blown away there. That is an absolutely massive plane. So when she says that there is debris flying in her face, I believe her.
I'd just like to ride on it once.
Yeah, okay. I think the closest we'll get is on these assignments or if we go to the White House.
Yeah, there are no layovers on Air Force One. 53,000 gallons of fuel in that thing, and it can refuel in the air, so it never has to land. And an example I saw earlier is you can go from Washington to Vietnam on 1 tank of gas.
You are a geek.
So that is, that's impressive.
You did all your research, I see. So again, that's President Barack Obama. He's leaving the city now after spending about a little more than 5 hours or so from touchdown to takeoff here in the New Orleans area. He met a lot of people. He arrived at several different events, including his speech that he gave there at the Sanchez Center in the lower 9th Ward. And he did say that there's still a lot of work to be done, but he said he made promises when he was a senator to really focus on New Orleans and rebuilding New Orleans, and he said that he has maintained and kept those promises that he made so many years ago.
Did you know?
Oh boy.
That the reason that it's called Air Force One is because years ago when President Eisenhower was using the same airspace and same call sign as a commercial airline, there was a lot of confusion, and they didn't want that confusion to happen again where a presidential plane was confused with a commercial plane. So from that moment on, the first time it was called Air Force One was 1959, and it's been ever since. Jackie Kennedy remodeled Air Force One.
She remodeled a lot in the White House as well. I guess it takes a woman's touch to make things feel like home.
Well, it had an orange cone on it before. This pretty sky blue color that's on it wasn't there before. It had a nice orange cone, and I use nice loosely because it was a military craft before. It still is, but this is a much better color scheme. And
there we can see it about to take off there at the airport. I can only imagine what that sounds and feels like.
640 mile per hour top speed on Air Force One on that particular plane. So he'll be home in about 2 hours and 10 minutes or so. That flight time from here to D.C.
Well, hope he had a good time here in the city. I know I'm sure a lot of people in the lower 9th Ward in Treme where he was shaking hands had a great time seeing him there.